The gradient of a
Okay,
line.
right fam.
Part
Today we are going
1.
to find the gradients of a line. We say the gradient of a line is how steep a particular line is. We have a few examples here that we would like to use to explain the concept of the gradients of a line. We have the first example here that has a higher gradient, or the line is steeper, so its gradient is going to be a little bit high. And we have a second line that is less steep, and so its gradient will be less than the first one. We have a line here that is very straight, it's not steep, and so because it is not steep, it's going to produce a zero gradient. And of course the last one that is moving downwards, and since it is moving downwards, it's going to produce a negative gradient. We are going to move on to see if we can find the gradient of a line, and we are going to use the common method, which is difference in y over difference in x. Of course there are many other examples. Find out in part 2.
The gradient of a
Alright,
line.
welcome to
Part
2.
2.
Let's continue. So we want to find the gradients of line A and line B. But let's start with line A first, right? We just find points that will give you whole numbers. So we are going to on the line. So we have this particular point on the line and another point on the line. So all what we need to do is to find for each point. It has two values, so we find the upper point, the two values for the upper point, usually with the x and the y value. Then we go to the other point on the line that we have marked, and then we find the x and the y value for that particular point. Then we're straight to go, right? So let's do that. So we have this particular point, the x value of that point and the y value of that particular point. So the x value and the y value 3 and 5. Then we have the x value 1 and 2 for that particular one. Now to find the gradient is the y over the x, which means difference in y, and then all over difference in x. Find out the answer in part 3.
Gradient of a line, part
Welcome
3.
to part 3. We're about to find the gradients of a line, and we've already found our x and our points, our 2 points on the line. We found the x and y values for each point, and so it's just about fixing the points and our gradient is done. So we have y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. We have y2, which is down there, y2. Usually x comes before y, so the second value is for y. So we have 2 minus y1 is 5 over there, that is for y1, right? Then all over we have x2 down there, 1 minus x1, that is 3. So we just do the calculations and we are done. We have minus 2, 3 over minus 2, which will give us 3 over 2. Let's go on and then see if we can find the gradients of line B in part 4. See you guys there.
Gradient of a
Alright,
line, part
fam.
4.
The last part of finding the gradients of a line is finding the gradients of line B, right? So we just find 2 points as usual. We want 2 points that both their x and y value will give us just a whole number, at least for now, as I said, so that as time goes on we can use decimals and all that. So we just pick 2 random points on that particular line, find the x value of that point and the y value of that point. The x value of that particular point is 4, and we can see that the y value is 1. The x value of this particular point moves to 1, all right, and then the y value moves to minus 2. So we can simply label our x1 and y1, label our x2 and our y2, and proceed to find a gradient which is equals to the difference in y all over difference in x, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So let's move on and then identify our x1 and then our y1s. So the first one becomes x1 y1. Usually x comes before y, then we have x2 y2. So we can simply slot in and then substitute all these values into the formula, and then we are good to go. So we have minus 2 minus 1, because that's y1, all over x2 is what, 1. Then we have x1, which is minus a positive 4, right? So just do a little arithmetic here and we are good to go. So in all, we are going to have minus 3 all over minus 3, which is going to give us a positive 1. All right, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and then share. Solve your own examples, and let me see in the comments. Of course, you can also mark your own points and use it to find a gradient. Bye bye.